By overwhelming demand, the Summer of '99 tour returns. July 27th, FedEx Forum. With special guests 3 doors down. And Mammoth WVH. Tickets on sale now at livenation.com. Creed returns, the Summer of '99 tour.
It's time! Let's go!
Bane tries.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Close. He hits and the Grizzlies have the lead.
Yeah!
Jared with a knockaway.
Good defense!
Durant attacking, spinning, hanging, and hitting.
Let's go! Let's go!
Sonic Radio. Welcome back to Sonic RNDIO. That spells radio with me, the CIO. This just in, the new Sonic $1.99 menu lets you build a crave-worthy meal for just $1.99 an item. Whether that's a creamy shake, crispy tots, or a quarter-pound double cheeseburger. This just out. Ostriches. They're mean, not very cute, and in my opinion, way too big for a bird. Don't miss the Sonic Fun 99 menu. 5 items, always $1.99. Live free, eat Sonic.
Tax not included. See menu for details.
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing compares to catching your Grizzlies IRL. And that all starts with buying tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Ticketmaster gets you to the game so you can catch every highlight. Put that jersey collection to use for the next game and get Grizzlies tickets at Ticketmaster. Whether they're here at FedEx Forum or on the road, Ticketmaster's got your back when it comes to scoring tickets. And there's no better brag than saying you saw it live.
Live from the Built Ford Tough studio at FedEx Forum, it's the Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South, on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app. Now, here's your host, Gary Parrish.
All right. I'm here. My name is Gary Parrish. I'm speaking to you from the Built Ford Tough studio. We're in FedEx Forum, downtown Memphis. Bennett Doyle right there producing the program. Glad he's with me. Glad you're with me. Hope you're getting through the day best you can. And I hope you weren't expecting a miracle in Oklahoma City last night, because we did not get one. And instead, we got another blowout loss on national television. This one by 19 points, so better. We'll talk through it momentarily. First, though, quickly, let me set today's schedule for you. In the next segment, around 10:20 or so, Chris Vernon is going to be here. He's the host of the Chris Vernon Show, weekdays noon, Grind City Media. He'll join me. He'll sit in a chair right between Bennett and I, and we'll talk all things Grizzlies and NBA playoffs. Vernon will be here about 20 minutes. Finish talking to him, take a break, come back. Do 5 more things you need to know, at which point we're going to discuss 5 previously undiscussed stories. Among them, Penny Hardaway spoke about the PJ Haggerty situation for the first time publicly yesterday afternoon. I'll tell you what he said. We'll do that in about 40 minutes. The University of Arkansas is encouraging its NIL collective, something called Arkansas Edge, to pursue all legal paths, that's a quote, to recoup money, any money it might be owed via buyouts from players bailing while under NIL contract. Getting serious between universities and players now. The schools are punching back. I'll tell you more about that in just a bit. Ace Bailey is the latest one-and-done star to officially declare for the 2025 NBA draft. I'll tell you where that Rutgers phenom should expect to be picked. I guess it's June. We're going to do it in June this year. We'll get into that a little later on in the show. The Tennessee Titans have made their decision on what to do with the #1 overall pick in tomorrow's NFL draft. It's going to be Cam Ward. I'm going to gauge Bennett's level of excitement. We'll do that in the second hour. And Tyler Childers is officially headlining Mempho Fest this year. That's a nice get. I'll tell you a cool story about him during a segment we call 5 More Things You Need to Know. Then we'll eventually do GP's carry out, and we'll call it a day. So that's the rundown. We got a lot to get to. But I did want to start with your Memphis Grizzlies, because game 2 of their best-of-7 series with the Thunder, it was played last night in Oklahoma City. As most predicted, it did not go well. Final score, Thunder 118, Grizzlies 99. That means the Grizz followed up their 51-point loss in game 1 with a 19-point loss in Game 2, which means they are now down 0-2 in this first round of these 2025 NBA playoffs. Average margin of defeat, 35 points. Level of humiliation, pretty high. Big Bet Bennett, we wondered yesterday what kind of fight, I think that's the word some folks were using, fight the Grizz would show after being embarrassed on national television on Easter. That was the big question. How would they look when the ball got thrown into the air? What'd you think?
I said in the postgame yesterday, I do wonder what this game would have looked like if they didn't start 0 of 9 from the field yesterday.
I think it was 0 of 10.
Was it 0 of 10? Okay. So, because the thing is they were getting good looks. They were just missing them. Oklahoma City was missing everything too. And so it's like, man, if you get half of those, you probably got a nice little lead. Like, is the game completely different at that point?
The question I hear you asking is, if you could make a shot, would the game be different? I think that's a reasonable question to ask, particularly when we're discussing the sport of basketball.
But a shot that you should make.
They got
because
good
it
looks
was
and they
open.
couldn't make nothing. They got good looks and they couldn't make nothing.
That's right.
They got good looks and they couldn't make nothing. Awful start.
Yes.
Shot making, awful. Effort, not good.
It wasn't a great start.
Start 0 of 10 from the field as a team. Just one missed open look after another. You're down 9-0 to start the game.
And then you're just like, here we go. Yeah.
You're down 32-17 after one quarter. A first quarter in which John Morant, Jaren Jackson, and Desmond Bain combined to shoot 2 of 16 from the field. Sure, from that point forward, the Grizz were only outscored by 4 points. Score was 86-82 over the final three quarters. Woohoo! But the Grizzlies never actually got closer than 8 points after trailing by 18 at the half. So congrats on finally starting to compete in the third quarter of Game 2. But for all intents and purposes, this game was over by the end of the first quarter, just like Game 1 was over by the end of the first quarter. Like, here's some math for you.
Okay.
The Grizzlies have now played 96 total minutes in this series against the Thunder. They've only led for roughly 2 of those minutes at the very beginning of a game. They've trailed for almost all of them, by as many as 56 points in Game 1, by as many as 23 points in Game 2. Charles and Shaq were mocking them on TNT. Twitter was roasting them from coast to coast. Was it better than Sunday? Yeah. I mean, it was better than Sunday, but it wasn't good. It wasn't good. And now the Grizzlies are headed back home for tomorrow night's Game 3 here inside FedEx Forum, 8:30 tip. Tickets available, grizzlies.com. I'm going to be in the building. I hope you'll be there too.
I'm going to be in the building.
Bennett's going to be in the building. I hope everybody's in the building that can fit in the building, because when a team is down 0-2 in a best-of-7 series with an average margin of defeat of 35 points and is listed as an 8.5-point underdog in Game 3, that team clearly needs any home court advantage that could possibly be created. So, again, tickets available, grizzlies.com. Bennett, how much of this is that the Grizz are embarrassing, right, relative to how much of this is the Thunder are just incredible? Because I do think that both things are in play to some degree.
I agree.
We can debate it, but like there's a scale in there somewhere. But both things are in play right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think that even if the Grizzlies were playing their best basketball of the season, it would still be hard to win this series against the Thunder. I think that's how good they are.
They're not good enough to beat this team.
Right.
They're just not.
Right. And I think that could be said for a lot of teams. but
I think we might find out, and that's why I'd be real careful, and I'm going to try to be real careful about overreacting to embarrassing blowouts, because what we might find out when this thing is completely done is that they're going to do this type of stuff, maybe not 51 points, but they're going to blow out maybe everybody on their way to a championship. And what we might find out is that the only teams that can actually compete with them is maybe Cleveland, maybe Boston, and maybe there's somebody in the West that emerges because Kawhi goes nuts or Luka goes nuts. But I think it's pretty obvious at this point. There's 29 other teams than them, and about 25 of them probably got no shot against them in a 7-game series or a 1-game anything, or they're just awesome.
Yes.
So I do think both things can be true. The Thunder are awesome, but the Grizzlies have, I keep throwing around because others are, the word embarrassing. That seems harsh, but like the Grizzlies have not performed well, even if Oklahoma City is awesome. What I'd rather be saying right now is Oklahoma City is awesome and the Grizzlies are out there competing, doing everything they could possibly do. But, you know, the truth is these are two franchises in very different places right now. One of them is, you know, operating at a historically incredible level. The other one has been shaky all season, had to fire its coach late, and is missing 2 key rotation play. I wish we were having that conversation.
Yeah.
But it doesn't seem like an honest conversation to have. It feels like, yeah, the Thunder are awesome, but there's still something missing here with the Grizzlies. But let's focus on the Thunder is awesome type thing for a second.
Sure.
Because I know everybody knows all this stuff, but it's just important to remind you as we're watching this series unfold exactly the type of team that we're watching right now. This has been a historically awesome team that, again, is probably capable of blowing out all but 2 or 3 teams in the NBA in a similar fashion. Remember, this Thunder team won more games this season by 15 or more points than any team in NBA history. Do you understand that? They won more games
Didn't realize that.
by 15 or more points this season than any team in NBA history. Michael Jordan's teams, LeBron James' teams, whoever your favorite players' teams are, they ain't never won as many games by 15 or more points in the regular season as this Oklahoma City team did this season. The number's 40. Their point differential in the regular season was 12.9. That's like literally the best in NBA history. This team is amazing.
That's why I did not realize that.
This team is amazing. Eric told us yesterday there are data points connected to this Oklahoma City team that make it all but a guarantee to win the championship. Obviously, there's no such thing as that. But the way Eric framed it was there are things this Oklahoma City team did in the regular season that if you try to find other teams that have done this type of stuff in the regular season, they have all, without exception, won the championship. This is no longer going to be surprising if Shai Gilgeous-Alexander leads the Thunder to a championship in 2025. It is the expected outcome. They are the favorites. They're amazing. But there were still points last night, during the game and after the game, where very prominent voices connected to the NBA and just random fans who are watching, consuming, are questioning the Grizzlies' heart and leadership and everything else. Getting questioned pretty intensely. And that's not what you want happening on this stage in year 5 of the Ja, Jaren, Des core. Ernie Johnson, respectful as always, said it last night as kindly as he could. He said Memphis is too good to look this bad. Again, a lot of it is Oklahoma City. But that acknowledged there is no way to pretend the Grizzlies are showing themselves well right now. And as we discussed yesterday, this is year 5 of those 3 core players being in the franchise together. And in these 5 years, the franchise is now 9-16 in playoff games. Barring a surprise, it's about to be 9-18 in playoff games and 1-4 in playoff series with those 3 men as members of the organization. That's not good. And at some point, and it could come this summer, an honest assessment has to be made about whether this core can actually accomplish big things together. They can beat bad teams together. We know that. But can they accomplish big things together? At this point, it's reasonable to be less certain of that. Big Bet Bennett, let's do it this way.
Okay.
On a scale of 1 to 7, because that's the scale we like to use.
Oh, boy. All right.
It's the 1 to 7 scale. And be honest,
Yes.
where's your confidence level in this so-called core 3 as it pertains to them ever bringing a Western Conference title to Memphis? Because I know that sounds silly right now, but just 2 years ago, the confidence level in that was perhaps at an all-time high. And understandably so. Where is that now?
I'm going to go gonna put it at a 4 right now, and the reason I say that is because I've said to you, like I said this yesterday to you, like I think all three individually, they're all three great players.
Sure.
I mean, they just are. They're all three great players. We just haven't seen them be able to bring it all together and all three be at the peak of their powers at the same time. And so the reason I would say a 4 is because I think that you can find that. You just got to find it. You got to find it. Because again, I think they're all three really good players. You just got to find a way to get them all operating at the highest level at the same time. We've had injuries. We've had some circumstances that have played a factor into it. This has been disappointing. There's no doubt about it. I don't think we can look, back since they all three got here together and say it's all been disappointing, right? There's been good moments. We've seen
it's been disappointing for a while.
It has been for a while. I think you got to obviously throw last season out the window.
Sure, that's fair.
Yeah, so I think that they can win at a high level with these three guys. I truly believe that. I think you got to put the right pieces around them. I mean, last night they got 0 points from their bench in the second half. 0. Meanwhile, Oklahoma City is throwing guys at you just nonstop the entire game. So I think you have to put the right roster around these guys. They've all obviously got to stay healthy, together. Because we even talked about at points throughout this season, like you want to be able to string together 10, 15 games where everybody's playing together at the same time. And it's just we have not seen that much with this group. So I think I think that they can still do it, even though it doesn't feel great right now.
I wouldn't rule it out that they could still do it. But I think you'd have to agree that wherever your confidence level is now, and you put it at 4 on a scale of 1 to 7, it's lower than it was when we started this season.
Yes.
It's lower than it was 2 years ago, 3 years ago. It's lower than it was the last time we saw the Grizzlies win a playoff series. All of that stuff has trickled off in the wrong direction. And my fear at this point, and again, I'm not ruling anything out, and let me be clear about something. I don't plan on having any bold statements about what the Grizzlies should do, particularly with the core, until I watch these playoffs play out. Mm-hmm. Because everything that we're watching right now could be distorted.
Yeah.
And
what if we win tomorrow night? I mean,
All right, stop.
I'm just saying.
Don't take it too far.
Okay.
Okay. I mean, maybe. All right.
I'm just saying.
It doesn't. The series doesn't feel winnable. Even if getting a game seems possible, the series doesn't feel winnable.
That's fair.
You'd have to be delusional at this point to think that this team can beat this other team 4 times. All right. Could you win 1? Sure. And I hope it's tomorrow night. But beat them 4 times? I don't know. I'd be surprised. Either way, what I mean is this. I think it's very easy to watch a team get smacked around like this, watch this core get smacked around like this, and say things like, you got to do something. Because I've certainly thought it, and I'm sure others have as well. But what if we watch everybody get smacked around like this by this team? And I know it won't be everybody to this degree, but they could run through this thing. And then you could reach a reasonable conclusion at the end of this, like, okay, this is disappointing, and we ain't nowhere close to them dudes, but we ain't that far behind anybody else, at least anybody else in the West. And so let's take a more patient approach and not do anything drastic, at least with the roster as it pertains to the tip-top big money guys. Let's not overreact to what we're feeling in this moment. Because here's the truth. I think we kind of did get caught up in a moment a few years ago with Dylan Brooks. Remember how quickly it was like, he's done here?
You ain't got to tell me.
I think we all got, and maybe you didn't.
No, I didn't. I never wanted Dylan gone.
I did. I'm not going to.
I got you.
Everything I say is recorded somewhere.
Yeah, right.
I'm not going to lie about it. I wanted him gone.
Right.
All right.
It was a tough series.
I wanted him out of here.
Yeah.
I don't want that anymore.
Yep.
All right.
I got you.
And the front office clearly agreed with me because it was exit interviews. It was reported he's gone. They have made a decision. They are not bringing him back.
Yeah.
I mean, it was quick.
Shams report. Yep.
It got caught up. Like the season's over, and within 48 hours, it's like, you will never play for us again. And I agreed with the sentiment and the decision, but I do think it's reasonable to look back on it with a bit of an hindsight and go, man, we might have got caught up in something there, like a moment, because the truth is, ever since that divorce happened, no matter how you felt about it at the time, Dillon Brooks been doing okay.
Yes.
And we hadn't. That's just the truth.
Yes.
So I would not want to get caught up in making big decisions because you just watched this core get blown out 4 straight games and now you got to do something. Because we might see, as the playoffs unfold, the Thunder are going to do this to a lot of people's cores. Mm-hmm. There's franchises that think they got good cores right now, and the Thunder are just going to embarrass them. Maybe not, but, buddy, it looks that way. I will say, my concern, big picture, isn't whether Ja Morant is amazing when he's on the court, because he clearly is, and he was in spurts last night. And it's not whether Jaren Jackson Jr. can be one of the most impactful players in the world on both ends of the court, because he's already established himself as that on some level. That's why his name has been attached to All-NBA talk all season. And I understand that Desmond Bane can be one of the better scoring guards in the league and has shown an ability to take over games when you might need him to do that. Perhaps not as consistently as you would like, but he can go get points for you in a time when you need them. They're all incredible NBA players. One from Murray State, another one who was a borderline first-round pick coming out of college, and another one who, was always a projected top 5 pick, but has probably exceeded expectations relative to even where he was picked. They're all great in their own ways. Do they work together? That's the question I think you can reasonably start to ask now. And who's the leader? I can't get it out of my head what Eric told us yesterday when I asked him. Eric, you're the radio voice of the Grizzlies. You're in planes with these guys. You're in hotels with these guys. We see them more or less when there's cameras around. Eric sees them when there's no cameras around. Eric sees them interact with each other, interact with the staff. Who's sitting together on a plane? Who's not sitting together on a plane? Who's eating lunch together? Who's not eating lunch together? I can't see that stuff, but Eric can. And when I said, who's the guy that stands up and says, this is not okay, what's happening to us right now? I am tired of Charles and Kenny and Czech making fun of us every night. This is not okay. This has to stop. Down 9, lose by 51 and start the next game down 9-0? 0 of 10 from the field? This is not okay. Who stands up and says that? You know what Eric said? I don't think the guy's on the roster. Might have used to been on the roster. Could get on the roster someday. But on this roster? The radio voice of the Grizzlies, and I'm not trying to make a big deal out of that. This meant something to me. Eric's around these guys. And he wasn't trying to be disrespectful. Eric loves these guys. He was just speaking honestly, which I appreciated. Who's the guy, Eric, that stands up and says, this is not okay? Eric said, I don't know that he's on the roster. That's concerning to me. That's concerning. Because you need that guy on your roster.
Yeah, you do.
It does not matter how talented you are. If you don't have that guy on your roster, you're going to have a hard time taking it where you want to take it. And you just contrast that statement from Eric with what we saw last night from the Thunder. Jalen Williams is doing the postgame interview on TNT. Did you watch it?
I didn't know. I didn't see him.
It's fine.
I was watching the
You didn't miss anything, except for it looked kind of the way a Grizzlies postgame interview used to look. He was standing there.
The one they stole from us. That's fine.
Yeah, well, we don't do it anymore.
That's fine.
Okay?
Fair enough. That's true.
The Grizzlies could still do it if they wanted to. It just kind of stopped happening. For whatever reason. You tell me. I don't know.
I don't either. Okay, yeah.
But okay. Once upon a time, it was like, hey, we're all in this. How much fun is this? Look at all of us having our post-game interviews. Doesn't happen like that anymore. Not as often as it used to. So.
Is that a cat?
I don't know what that is.
What was that?
It's either a cat or CJ.
That scared me.
I didn't know what that was.
I know. that really freaked me out.
So I don't remember.
Where
what I was
were we?
saying.
We weren't doing the celebration anymore. They
Oh, the
took
Jalen-
it, and
the-
now they're doing
the
it.
Jalen Williams
And
interview.
he did the walk-off.
This is what I mean.
Yeah.
You know, he's there. They ask him, you know, hey, you guys just beat this team by 51. You would think they're the ones that come out on fire, and you the guys might be a little relaxed. But it was the opposite. You guys were on fire, and they were relaxed. What's that about? And he's like, well, you know, you just got to understand that, you know, who your opponent is, and you know, they were on short rest on Sunday, so it made sense that they, you know, maybe were a little fatigued or in a tough spot. But we assumed they were going to try to bounce back tonight, so we got to be able to match that energy. They didn't just match the energy; they exceeded the Grizzlies' energy. They did in the first quarter. They did. Even the interim coach, Coach Isolo, made a point after the game to say, "I thought we competed in the third quarter."
Which they did.
Congrats!
I know.
That's 7 quarters into the series.
I'm with you.
Even their own coach doesn't think they competed at all in the series until quarter 7. All right? So Jalen Williams is having this conversation post-game. He's got his teammates behind him, and he's just talking about chemistry, and he's talking about how much they love each other and how much they don't care who gets the credit and how much they don't care who is the star, that they're all in this thing together and they're going to outwork. It just said all the stuff that you used to hear the Grizzlies say. It was a lot of the same stuff. Maybe not word for word, but sentiment for sentiment. And I don't know. I liked it better when I watched this franchise's best players have those types of moments. They've happened in too infrequently lately, which is, you know, while we're having the conversations we're having right now. Either way, Game 3, tomorrow night, 8:30. Tickets available, Grizzlies.com. I'll talk to Chris Vernon about it next.
Grizz Nation gets set for tip-off 1 hour before every Grizzlies home game with the warm-up show. Get the latest news, notes, and analysis live from courtside at FedEx Forum.
Who's going to be the tougher team that rebounds and prevents second-chance opportunities?
Join me, Lang Whitaker, along with Michael Wallace, Jessica Benson, and other personalities from Grind City Media, Memphis, and around the NBA. 1 hour before every home game, live at Grind City Media on X, YouTube, and the official Grind City Media mobile app.
There's nothing like playoff basketball.
Boy, nothing like playoff basketball in Memphis.
The atmosphere of a Grizzlies playoff game is super exciting.
Oh my God, it's absolutely electric. I love seeing the crowd out.
Everybody's just screaming their heads off. You feel like you're in a movie.
People are down here. Everyone's got on their Grizz gear.
The city's excited. Everybody's excited to watch. There's really nothing like it, and I really can't wait.
Kroger shoppers and Grizz fans, one exclusive last-minute discounted ticket deals texted straight to you during the Grizzlies 2024-2025 season. Sign up with the new Kroger Buzzer Beater deal. Fans can sign up by texting Grizz to 636-479 or visit your local Kroger store in the Delta Division and scan the QR code. By signing up, you agree to receive recurring automated promotional and personalized marketing text messages from the Memphis Grizzlies. Consent is not a condition of any purchase. Message frequency varies. Message and data rates may apply.
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing beats catching your Grizzlies IRL, and nobody knows that better than you. So next time you want to hit up a game, Ticketmaster's got your back with tickets to every upcoming matchup. Whether you're catching the Grizzlies at home or on the road, you'll find tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Keep putting that jersey collection to use and get Grizzlies tickets today. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside again soon, Memphis.
All you American wrestling fans out there, watching this international road to WrestleMania should be a wake-up call. Turn up at these shows. Stop being so spoiled, because Cody Rhodes, Cody Rhodes, Cody Rhodes,
I love it.
Cody Rhodes.
Let's go, Cena. Cena sucks.
Yeah.
I'm grabbing my finger because you're telling those people that they need to do better.
Yeah.
Tune in to Grind City Wrestling weekly on the Grind City Media app and on the Grind City Media YouTube channel.
Welcome back, Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South. We're inside the Built Ford Tough studio, and on Tuesdays in the second segment, I'm joined by the host of the Chris Vernon Show. Yeah. It's Chris Vernon. He's right there. Hey, Chris Vernon. How are you? How you holding up? How you holding up, Grumpy Grizzly?
I mean, I'm fine. I'm fine. I will say this. There is a sentiment that goes on about watching that play out over the last two games and people wishing, is this what we wanted? Like, why do we even do this? Why are we even here? You know, because there was a debate about whether or not, you know, you even wanted to win the play-in game to be in this position. And I am of the opinion, as watching this play out, that it is the absolute best thing. And this is going to sound positive, but it's not. In this way, it is the best thing for the future of this franchise to not be able to make any excuse about this.
I agree with this.
There is no excuse you can make. You are seeing how far away you are from being able to compete. You're seeing what you have on this roster and coming to a realization. Like, so if you want things to change drastically, this is the best case scenario, in my opinion, right? As someone who does. Like, I think they need wholesale roster changes, right? I heard you talking about the three guys. The three guys are fine. We have three high-level starters. That's it. That's where it ends.
That does look like it.
We have no other starting caliber NBA player on the team. You can trick yourself all you want. Scottie Pippen ain't starting for anybody. Zach Edey ain't starting for anybody. Not of these teams. Not of the ones I've watched.
So let me stop you here for a second. How did this happen? Because we didn't think this was the case in October. How did this happen?
Well, the Marcus Smart thing is obviously a disaster.
Right.
You have to go back to all of the draft. Like, dude, here's the deal. This is what infuriates me, and I've talked about it 1,000 times. You go back 3 years ago. So it's hard for me to accept that Ja and Dez and Jaren, the core, cannot compete. Because I saw them when you put them with real players. Mm-hmm. The idea that 3 years down the road, after we lost 101-98 in a Game 4 in Golden State without Ja Morant, and Dylan Brooks literally shot us out of the game. That happened. Right. We lost 101-98 in Game 4. Came back here in Game 5, stomped them out by 40, right, and then went there and lost in the Game 6 to Kevon Looney and Andrew Wiggins.
That was the Friday night game.
Okay. If you would have told me that I was going to look up in 3 years and my small forward is significantly worse and my center is significantly worse, 3 years down the road, mm-hmm, that is impossible. And so everybody can mealy mouth around this. The truth is, you didn't improve from Dylan Brooks, and you used every draft pick and trade asset in order to try to do that, and you didn't do it. And in the center position, you tried to trade up out of that 9. You never wanted to draft 9, but you knew you're just going to go in. You can't not have a center. And so you took Zach Edey, who is not a natural fit with the guys that you have, mm-hmm, right? Like, I'm watching at the beginning of the game last night, and they're like, Thomas Isolow's talking about how they need to play faster. And how faster? You want more possessions versus team? And you only have 4 guys that can possibly get down the court. So you're always going to be in a discrepancy. So I look at it and I go, no, you have 3 positions totally locked in, Gary. Totally locked in, right? Those 3 are locked. Okay, you only have 2 to fill. It is an abject failure to not. When you did fill them, you filled them with the 39th pick in the draft and the 9th pick in the draft, mm-hmm, for a team that is theoretically ready to win. In that possible scenario that I brought up with the Warriors, right? Then you had Tyus Jones, then you had Brandon Clark, then you had Kyle Anderson, then you had DeAnthony Melton. These are all real NBA players. Mm-hmm. Like, real, could start for you if you needed them to. Kyle Anderson started in one of the biggest games of the year last year for the Minnesota Timberwolves in their win in Denver, where they had their best defensive performance. So, I mean, like, these are guys you can, like, put on the court against somebody like the Thunder. What this is exposing, when I watch John Morant come off a Zach Edey high screen, and the guy from the corner guards him, and the big guy guards him, and the guard gets around the screen, and then I got he's the option. Like, what are you gonna do? Kick the? There's no. You can't throw it to Edey. He's not gonna catch it, and you can't throw it out to anybody that can hit a three, because you don't have that. So, like, dude, they blamed the coach. Everybody said, and I watch everybody on Twitter, it's not the roster, it's the way the coach is using them. Look at the way Zach Edey would have won Rookie of the Year, this and this and that. Now what?
Right.
Now what? You're watching it. And to your point about Oklahoma City could just be that great, and we look back and we, bull crap. Watch next round. You're going to come to me. I will be here.
Okay.
I will be here when they play the Clippers. And then we're going to have this discussion.
Well,
and you tell me how far ahead of everybody else they are, because that's not so. They are that far ahead of the Grizzlies because everybody that is good is that far ahead of the Grizzlies. Everybody we've played that is good has smashed us for 2 months.
Oh, yeah.
So this is not about what Oklahoma's. I got it. They have an amazing year. They are a fantastic team. But when you get into the playoffs and you get to watch them play the Clippers in the next round, you're going to realize how, and then everybody here is going to realize how far Memphis is from being able to compete with that. Because here's a little dirty secret: the Clippers will be beating us just as bad. Just as bad. I watched the Clippers play the Nuggets the other night. We'd be losing just as bad to that team.
I don't mean to suggest that the Thunder are going to have an average margin of victory of 35 points over anybody they face. I just think we could look up and they are not blowing teams out to this degree, but like coasting through.
Nope.
Coasting.
Nope. No chance.
No chance.
Nope. Not if they have to face that Clippers team. Just wait. I'll be here.
The Clippers team with Kawhi is a different animal. I acknowledge that. And
they also have wings on wings on wings. They bring Derrick Jones Jr. off the bench, and they bring Ben Simmons off the bench, and then they bring Bogdan Bogdanovic off the bench.
No,
and then they bring. It's like, good grief, bro. I mean, we couldn't score.
Can't score.
Dude,
Can't score.
I texted Roser and Devin last night. I accept that they are awesome. Teams also can score against them.
Not this one.
Not us.
Not this
Not
one.
us.
It's just hard to watch, man.
Oh, my God.
Like, I saw you tweet. It looks like it's like.
I mean, they're just poking the ball away from us.
Yes. It looks like they're like.
You play against your kids.
Yes.
Yes.
It's like you're playing against your kids, and that's humiliating.
And they have like all the confidence in the world. Not to mention they play harder.
That's the other thing. They play harder.
They were up 114-92, and they were out hustling us for rebounds.
To me, that's the concern.
Like, how are you the desperate one when you're up 22?
That's my question. I love John Morant. I love Jaren Jackson. I love Desmond Bane. They are three high-level starters at three different positions. But when you just got embarrassed on Easter, and now we're going to throw the ball up again, and that team's outworking you from the jump, that's a problem. And when Shaq and Kenny, and I know they say outlandish stuff all the time, and you can't take it too seriously, but when the NBA community at large is questioning your heart, your leadership, and all that stuff, to me, that's a concern. That
100% is a concern.
Yes.
And I also think, and look, I've stayed on this over and over again, the not having any vets on this team, nobody that's won anything. You can't expect somebody that's never won anything to win something. I'm sorry.
I'm
sorry. Like you've never. How can you not have one player that's won anything?
It's a little apples to oranges, but this conversation has always stayed with me. Brendan Haywood, former NBA player, NBA champion.
Yeah.
Now he's NBA TV, but he was with us for several years at CBS Sports Network, and we were in studio a lot. And one night we were in studio as like something silly was going on with the Sixers in the trust the process stage. It might have been like Jahlil Okafor's fighting in the streets or whatever it was. And I remember Brendan saying the thing that they don't understand in that front office, because it's just a bunch of analytics advanced, they don't get is that, yeah, you can take all these draft picks and bring all these teenagers into your organization, but if you got nothing but 19 and 20 and 21-year-olds, millionaires, but that is not going to work, because you need somebody to tell people the way you're acting right now is not okay. The way you're approaching things right now is not okay.
I just went back and I told you that 3 years ago when we had this team built, like, say whatever you want. And again, I thought you would improve from that. Mm-hmm. Kyle Anderson had been on championship run teams with San Antonio. Steven Adams has been in 150,000 playoff games from the time he was 19 all the way up to the time he was 28 playing with us. He'd been in the playoffs literally almost every year of his career. And Tyus Jones is like as professional gets.
That's right.
Right? And it's like...
That stuff matters.
100% it matters. I mean, what are you going to look over to the bench and who's going to yell at you? G.G. Jackson? Because you didn't run?
That's right.
Who's going to yell at you? Vince Williams because you didn't run?
And I think this is true in every sport. I think it's true with every team.
Of course it is.
I think it's true. You ready for this? In families.
Of course it is.
You need somebody to hold you accountable.
That's it.
I don't care who you are.
That's it.
You need somebody to hold you accountable.
Dude, I'm watching last night. Were you watching the Lakers game by any chance?
Yes.
Okay, Lakers-Wolves, right? Did you see the timeout?
JJ Redick. Yeah, he went crazy.
Went crazy cussing them up and down.
That's Luka and LeBron, and he cussed them out on national television.
All they have is veterans.
Yes.
The whole team is veterans.
Yeah.
And their coach was the one going crazy over that last night.
And in the post game, you see, they asked him. They said, "JJ, there was this moment in you called a timeout and you got real emotional." And he was like, "No emotion, just coaching. I was just coaching." Yeah. But that's you have to, as a coach, you have to coach that way, and as a player, you have to be willing to be coached that way.
Did you see what happened?
Yeah, they
came out of the timeout and went on a 7-0 run like that.
That's right.
Like that.
Right. Meantime, I'm listening to part of the game.
Oh my God! Did Hasseltine make it?
Oh, buddy.
Did he make
I've
it
listened
through?
to part. We had baseball last night. So
I'm worried about his health.
He was screaming about a timeout.
Yeah, I'm worried about his health.
He was like, "Why are we not taking a timeout? This is a mistake. This is a mistake." He was kidding. But like, that's where we're at. Why is Eric Hasseltine more fired up than?
I just think like, for everybody that's upset that we're even having to watch this unfold the way it is, bro. You cannot excuse. You can't say, well, we had to get rid of the coach, and the coach, it was his fault. And then we lost Brandon and we lost Jalen Wells, who are two decidedly average NBA players. So that's the reason. And it's like, come on.
No, I thought you made a good point on Monday. I repeated it yesterday. I gave you credit, of course, about how I would not have woke up on the morning that this organization fired Taylor Jenkins and been like, today I'm firing Taylor Jenkins. I wouldn't have done that. But I understood why they did. I understood the rationale behind it. As you pointed out,
you used the bullet.
You should have held that bullet. Or at least if
could have blamed the season on him.
I don't know that you should have. I'm just saying.
But if you're the...
Oh, here's the way you do it now. If you just let Taylor Jenkins ride this thing out, let him get smacked around by the Thunder, fire him, say he was the problem, and now you ain't going to believe this guy we're about to promote.
Right.
Buddy.
It's all going to change.
Yeah, but now we're seeing it. Nothing's changed. It's a harder sell. It's just a harder sell.
Way harder sell.
Way harder sell.
Way harder sell. Because now it's like, because you had a huge swath of people that were saying that every day.
Yeah.
This roster's good enough. This is Taylor's fault. The reason this team can't beat good teams is because of Taylor Jenkins. The reason that they're this is because of Taylor Jenkins. The reason Zach Edey's not Rookie of the Year is because Taylor Jenkins. The reason that this is this. And in retrospect, you look and you're like, maybe Taylor Jenkins got the absolute max out of this.
He must be having a blast right now.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, well, and the other thing is obviously it's not just him. You got rid of two of the assistants.
Yeah.
So it's like the people that have been a part of this the whole year are now a different group for the last 9 games. That's what I'm saying. I would have held on to that bullet. I get it. You wish it would have played out different. And honestly, you are, couple Steph Curry 3 misses from playing Houston, and it's a different world.
Yeah.
But I'm saying now that you're seeing so by virtue of that happening, and you could convince yourself, like, okay, so fine. Let's say you would have played a hard-fought series against Houston, or maybe let's even say you would have beat Houston. Okay, let's say that. You'd have gotten smoked by the Lakers or the Wolves. I mean, in the next round. So, I mean, now you're seeing what the apex is. You're seeing what the number 1 team is. Right now, you're seeing what they look like, and you're seeing just how far you are from being able to compete with something like that.
I mean, it looks like a bye game. It looks like it looks like you're
1 versus 16. I saw somebody put last night.
That's what it looks like. It looks like it's the number 1 ranked team in the country in college basketball playing, nickels.
Well, and the other thing is, I mean, the disappointing thing is that they look so defeated in the middle of the game.
Yeah.
You can, I sat there and there's part of me, I'm like, do you know this is on TV, right?
Well, there was the play last night. I think it was like 95-79 when Jaren gets stripped. Their entire lineup is on the floor diving for the ball, and our guys are just kind of standing there letting it happen. I'm like, wow, we haven't seen that.
There's another one. There's like a Caruso missed 3 long rebound, and who is it? It just runs right past Santi.
Kason Wallace.
Yeah, just runs right past Santi to get the ball, and then it's a 1 pass 3. Maybe it's, I don't remember.
No, they want it more.
Yeah, they want just like
even though they're up by 1 million.
Right. That's a problem.
That's a mentality.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
So I won't hold you to it. Last thing before I get you out of here, but how do you fix this? How would you fix it? Is there an idea of what would you do to make this better in advance of next season?
Yeah, you have to get veteran players on this team. End of story. That's it.
Right.
You have to get veteran players on your team. And you are going to have contracts. Obviously, that Marcus Smart thing is falling off the books now. The Luke Kennard thing's falling off the books. I mean, you're going to have money in the offseason. And you have to use that judiciously. And so between the money you have to spend and the trades that you can make with some teams that are maybe in rebuilding, like some of these young players, like, dude, you've got your 3 players and they are still young, right? Build out around them. Yeah, I think it is so instructive. I was watching Detroit the other night, and I'm so intensely jealous of them because I watched them and they are what the Grizzlies were a few years ago, where it was like, oh, wow. And then I'm watching them beat the Knicks, and they're like, and the young Pistons, right? And it's like Cade Cunningham and Jalen Duren, and the other 3 guys are like Malik Beasley, who's been in a ton of playoff games, and Tim Hardaway Jr., who's been in a ton of playoff games, and Dennis Schroeder, who's been in a ton of playoff games, and Tobias Harris. I'm like, the young, young. These guys have 400 combined playoff games between them, right? Go find some people that have won something. Go find some adults.
Yeah.
We don't have a player over 30.
Right.
30.
Right.
That's not old.
Right.
I'm not saying go get Udonis Haslem, who's 40, right? But, I mean, even those teams. I'm watching Denver, and who's the one sitting there talking to these guys in the huddle and stuff? It's freaking DeAndre Jordan. DeAndre Jordan's been around for 35 years.
That's right.
How is he even on that team? Do you know why he's on that team?
Right.
To play maybe 2 minutes if Jokic, really needs a rest or something. But generally, to help that team and help those young guys along.
I'd take anybody from either of those 2 teams.
You have to change the mentality of the team somehow.
100%.
Yeah, because something's broken there.
That's
and
right.
maybe that's too strong of a word.
They've acted,
but something's not right.
Look, we acted like something we weren't twice.
Yeah.
Okay. Which was we were the one that were like we were like the cocky kid on the block. I like that so much better.
Sure.
So much better. Now we wanted to say, oh, no. We want to act like the Thunder. We want to act like the Spurs. We want to adopt best practices and be totally boring and nobody does any interviews. And, like, you have to be yourself. Mm-hmm. I can't watch Colin Cowherd every day and then come on and just try to – you're right? Yep. When you're dealing in anything that's based in personalities, right, you have to be yourself. That is what is authentic. But when you try to strip all that away – I mean, now you're left with, there's nothing. What do you have? What is the culture right now?
Yeah.
What is it?
Yeah. And maybe that's the better word. I said change the mentality. You got to change the culture somehow. You've got to change the culture around this team. Something's not right.
No, you got to get some dogs.
Yeah.
If nothing else, watch that last night. Because look, and Memphis is one of these unique towns. We would rather root for somebody that's given it everything. That I loved that Memphis Tiger team this year.
Yeah.
I did. And even at the end, it was disappointing the way that ended.
Right.
But, bro, it wasn't going to be because Dane Danger, I mean, he was leaving his heart on the floor.
That's right.
End of story. It wasn't going to be because he wasn't trying to make that thing happen. And part of that probably came from the kid that was from Texas. Right? That was instilled early in the year. I remember you saying with Chris Beard, right? That's a kind of guy that can, and I feel like even, let's just say another Memphis version of the team, many people will turn to the fact that when Mills got hurt the year before, that just changed them radically because it's like you don't think that guys like that can have the impact, but it raises all the boats. And it's exact. I've said it, and you've heard my monologue about it 100,000 times. And it's been so fun this year watching all of the
the revisionist history on the Tony Allen experience. That team in 11 that started this thing off was not good.
Right.
And they were not good defensively at all. At all. And when we got to December, and he got installed into that lineup, and you saw all of a sudden everything changed. Everything. And it's like, so that kind of stuff can happen.
You can
and
change the energy.
It's exactly what I thought Marcus Smart was going to bring to the table. And look, I got it. I understand. I heard all their whatever. The day they traded him, I told them, you can try to tell me you have a better option than Marcus Smart when it comes playoff time. You don't. And you will miss having a veteran. You have got to have somebody that's won something. Because when it goes bad, that's when that guy comes into play. I don't care if he shoots 10%.
Right.
I don't care. Shoot 10% from the field. That's fine. What I need is when the guy's not hustling, that's somebody that can hold him accountable.
Right.
When things are going terrible, he's the guy saying, don't let go of the rope. And they listen to him.
That's right.
And it's like, you've got to take into consideration the personality, to your Brendan Haywood point, the personality element to this, because right now you see them letting go of the rope in these games, and there's nobody to say that they'll all perk up to, right? And in fairness, that was Dylan Brooks, that was Steven Adams, that was Kyle Anderson. You had three of them.
And that's a real problem, just to circle back to
that's what they need.
And I'll get you out of here to this, but like, yes, I was at Ole Miss the day after Memphis lost to Arkansas State, and Chris Beard and I started talking about him. He said they'll be fine because they got Tyrese Hunter. He won't allow this thing to slip away. He'll grab it and pull it back to where it needs to be. I coached that young man. He's made of the right stuff. They'll be fine. And they were. You got to have that on the roster. Who is that? And like, you just, all I know is at some point early in the game last night, the color commentator literally said, I'm looking at John Morant and he has to change his body language. His teammates are feeding off or looking to him, and he looks
defeated.
Yes.
Yes.
That's a problem.
Of course it is.
I love the highlights.
Of course it is.
I love the chase down blocks, but that's a problem.
No. He looks defeated.
Yeah.
Right? And they feed off that too.
Yes.
That's why when he walks up the court, the Thunder are like, let's.
That's right.
Here.
Yep.
Come here.
Yep.
You know what I mean? I mean, I've seen it. Unfortunately, and that's the hard part for all Grizzlies fans, we've seen it on the opposite. We've seen your guard dribbling it up the court and Tony Allen being like,
let's go.
Come on.
I'm here. Let's go.
On. You can't even dribble against me. Right? And guys get shook. Right? Like, we're the shook ones.
That's right.
That is tough to watch.
Tough to watch. Chris Vernon will be in studio. Give him an hour and 8 minutes. Noon tip-off, Chris Vernon Show. Thanks, buddy. I'll see you when we come back. Penny Hardaway spoke yesterday publicly for the first time since PJ Haggerty announced he's in the transfer portal. I'll tell you what Penny said. We'll do that next. Gary Parrish Show presented by Ortho South.
We touched on this earlier, the panel here, about what really has been the mainstay of the Grizzlies, and that's Jaren Jackson Jr. Trip has just been awesome.
He's posting guys up. He's stronger than he's ever been. He's physical, and he's scoring all type of ways.
Hey, Grizzlies fans, be sure to tune in to Grizz Beat, where the panel and I break down all things Grizzlies and take a look at the rest of the NBA as well. The show is live every Wednesday, 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball, but the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board, a class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GVWR.
Kroger shoppers and Grizz fans, want exclusive last-minute discounted ticket deals texted straight to you during the Grizzlies 2024-2025 season? Sign up with the new Kroger Buzzer Beater deal. Fans can sign up by texting Grizz to 636-479 or visit your local Kroger store in the Delta Division and scan the QR code. By signing up, you agree to receive recurring automated promotional and personalized marketing text messages from the Memphis Grizzlies. Consent is not a condition of any purchase. Message frequency varies. Message and data rates may apply.
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing beats catching your Grizzlies IRL, and nobody knows that better than you. So next time you want to hit up a game, Ticketmaster's got your back with tickets to every upcoming matchup. Whether you're catching the Grizzlies at home or on the road, you'll find tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Keep putting that jersey collection to use and get Grizzlies tickets today. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside again soon, Memphis.
The new issue of Slam, the cover dropped, and it is our friend Jaren Jackson Jr. on the cover.
And shout out to you, Lane.
Yeah.
You kept, well, I mean, we knew about it, but you kept this a secret the whole time. So shout out to you for
I wrote
putting
this story.
together.
We did the photo shoot a couple weeks ago here on a Sunday afternoon in the practice court. The Sneak Fest show, live Tuesdays at 2 p.m. on Grind City Media on X, YouTube, and the official Grind City Media mobile app.
Orthopedic injuries can be unpredictable, unforeseen, and unscheduled, and Ortho South understands this better than anyone. Since your injuries don't make appointments, you don't need to either. That's because Ortho South welcomes walk-ins during the weekdays, in the evenings, and even on Saturdays. So next time an unforeseen injury makes an unscheduled appearance in your life, visit orthosouth.org to find your nearest urgent care location. Just walk in, and Ortho South will take care of everything, especially you. Learn more at orthosouth.org. That's Ortho South at orthosouth.org. Now I got 5 more things you need to know.
Number 1.
Penny Hardaway spoke publicly for the first time yesterday afternoon, for the first time since PJ Haggerty announced that he was entering the transfer portal. And among other things, and I thought this was probably the biggest headline out of it, Penny made it clear the door is not shut on PJ Haggerty. There are some schools, some programs, like, say, the Tennessee football program, that might say, hey, if you don't want to be here, then get on with it. We're going to lock the door behind you. There's no turning back. That's what they told their starting quarterback a couple of weeks ago. Penny Hardaway has made it clear that, in a perfect world, PJ Haggerty would not have gotten into the transfer portal. Mm-hmm. But he understands why he would and supports his decision to do so. And they will keep in touch and maintain a good relationship. And if PJ Haggerty decides that Memphis is ultimately the best place for him, he will have a home back at the University of Memphis. Bennett, as someone who cares deeply about that program, you like that, don't you?
Oh, yeah, that would be great.
Yeah,
that would be great.
I don't think you have to do this at every program. In other words, tell your player who just entered the transfer portal that, hey, buddy, we got a spot for you back here if you want it, whenever you want it. Like, I don't know that you have to do that at Kentucky or at Louisville or some of these places that are operating with lots and lots and lots of money. St. John's is one now. But at Memphis, it is the most sensible thing to do if you're Penny Hardaway. Mm-hmm. Don't shut the door on anything. You are operating from a disadvantaged place. That's just pretty clear at this point. In years past, Memphis had comparable money to lots of power conference programs and more money than some. That no longer seems to be true. And so, with much of the reporting suggesting that PJ Haggerty's asking price of $4 million and point guard responsibilities, with all the reporting suggesting that might not get met, then perhaps he watches a price drop or comes to the realization he's a great college basketball player, but ain't worth that much to anybody. Mm-hmm. Not at that position, at least. He might realize that, okay, I can take maybe more money, but to go play for a coach I'd never met before 2 weeks ago and at a school that I'm unfamiliar with, is there a way then that Memphis could make the pot good enough to just convince him to come back and try to be an All-American for the Tigers for the second straight year? Perhaps. I don't know. In fact, I'm not optimistic. But perhaps, and I thought Penny was smart to handle this the way he handled it. He expressed frustration with the system, the chaotic nature of it. He even said, and I've been telling you this for a while, like, the prices we're dealing with right now are not the prices we used to deal with. Mm-hmm. Whatever you think you're paying for eggs relative to what you used to pay for eggs, I know that's a big topic around the country, just trust me, the price hike on eggs ain't got nothing on the price hike on basketball players. The same dude who cost you $150,000 last summer is costing you $500,000 right now. That's where we're at. And so Penny expressed frustration with the chaotic nature of the system and how players who aren't even All-Americans, like Robert Wright at Baylor, are literally getting $3 million to change schools. I get the frustration. I understand his sentiment, but he stopped well short of criticizing PJ Haggerty. In fact, made it clear he supports him and is happy for him to even be in a position to capitalize. So Penny handled that well. The only question I think you now have to deal with if you're him or his staff, and I don't know that there's a great answer to this, but the transfer portal is now closed. That happened last night. Everybody who's in there is in there. Yesterday, at this time, I could say the transfer portal's still open, and you don't know who's going to get in there before it closes. A week ago, transfer portal's open. You don't know who's going to get in there before it closes. So you watch one guy come off the board. Well, like another guy might come back on the board. So my point is now there is a defined amount of supply. Everybody who's in that thing is in that thing now. When somebody comes out of it, they don't get replaced by somebody else. When the seventh best transfer is gone now, they don't get replaced by a new transfer who could jump into the top 5.
Right.
Whatever the number is, and it's in excess of 2,000, that number no longer gets added to. It shrinks. This is my point. Let's say you're sitting around, and I'm just throwing a number out. Don't take the number seriously. I'm not saying that Memphis is holding $2 million for PJ Haggerty. But for the sake of the conversation, let's just say that Memphis has $2 million for PJ Haggerty. He's not ready to take it yet. He's going to go through the NBA draft process. He's going to consider all his options. You can hand him $2 million right now. He's not ready to take it. He won't take it. But he might take it later. Do you just hold it on the off chance that he might take it later? Because if he does, great. You just brought back a second-team All-American. But if you're holding $2 million for PJ Haggerty, and he keeps telling you there's a chance he'll come back, so you keep holding it for him, and then he goes through the draft process, and several months pass, and this transfers off the board, and this transfers off the board, and this transfers off the board, and suddenly PJ Haggerty tells you, hey, I've made a decision, I'm staying in the draft. Or I've made a decision, I'm going to Houston. Whatever. Now you've got this money, but there ain't no players. Or at least none good enough to help you in any sort of meaningful way. There ain't no $2 million players left out there.
No, there's not.
That's the tough situation. It's a little bit like, I remember going to a recruiting, it was a coaching clinic one time down in Florida. Billy Donovan and Larry Shyatt were running it. And Billy, I thought this was really smart. Billy brought in somebody to do an hour session on recruiting. And do you know who the person was? A salesman who knew nothing about basketball.
Of course.
A guy who knew nothing about basketball. But here's what he said. He said, coaches, I'm going to ask you a question. All of you. And I'm talking like Brad Stevens is there, Billy Donovan's there, the whole, some of the biggest names in the sport. And this salesman said, I'm going to ask you a question. How often do you go into a recruitment thinking, I'm going to get this player, he's mine, and then you actually get him? And they were like, yeah, pretty often. That's usually the way it goes. If you feel good about it at the jump, there's a good chance you're going to get that one done. He said, okay, cool. I assume that much. He said, let me ask you the opposite. How often do you go into a recruitment where you think, man, this is going to be tough? If we were ranking this thing right now, I'd probably be in 4th place. And you actually get that done. You finish first. They're like, yeah, that doesn't really happen too often. Okay, then stay out of those. You're wasting your time, all right? You're wasting your time. You can get on anybody's list, but if you're 4th on the list from the jump, you probably ain't getting that done. You're just wasting time. And while you're wasting all this time getting strung along, these other players that you can get are coming off the board. Now you finally get the no 3 months later, or in some cases with recruiting 3 years into the recruitment, you finally get the no, You're like, okay, I guess it's time to move on. But by the time you move on, there ain't nobody else out there for you. So don't get strung along in stuff that's not going to turn out well for you. The best thing you can hear in a recruitment is an early yes. The worst thing you can hear is a late no. The second best thing you can hear is an early no. Tell me no now. If you're going to tell me no in 3 months, tell me no now so I can get on with it. That's the uncomfortable position Penny's now in. He's not going to get an early yes, and he's not going to get an early no. So now you're hoping for a late yes. But that late no can be a killer if the late no comes and the transfer portal has been sorted through and all the best players are gone.
I'll tell you what I'm hoping for. I feel like I'm having deja vu all over again with DeAndre Williams. I'm hoping Dane Danger can get that waiver because I don't think he entered. And so if he gets a waiver, it looks like he'd come back to Memphis.
I hope so too.
Yeah.
Nobody seems to think that's likely.
The waiver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I hope so.
Me too.
But if you're counting on that.
I'm not. But I think that's something that
I wouldn't rule
just
it out.
another thing
know.
you can hope for while you're hoping that PJ thing works out. Like that's another thing that's like, man, I hope that happens.
Yeah, sometimes I come on here and I'm like, I'll tell you exactly what to do.
Yeah.
Right? I know exactly what Memphis should do in conference realignment. I know exactly what Memphis should do in this. Sometimes I have all the answers. I'm not suggesting I have the answer here. I don't know exactly the right way for Penny to handle this. I just know it's an uncomfortable situation. On one hand, you want to wait on PJ Haggerty.
For sure.
Because there's nobody you can get as good as him. Nobody. There's
That's
nobody
right.
Memphis can add to the roster as good as that guy. So on one hand, you want to wait, but the worst thing that can happen to you would not be PJ Haggerty telling you no today. It would be PJ Haggerty telling you no in 2 months.
And everybody else is gone.
Yeah. Because if PJ Haggerty told you no today, you start throwing that money around to other people and trying to get things done right now. But if you're waiting on him and then he tells you no, and then, oh, by the way, the rules could be changed by then. The rules could change any week.
God, it's crazy.
You like what you're trying to do for PJ Haggerty right now might not be allowed 2 weeks from now. So you're waiting on him. You're holding this money. You can't get an answer. Maybe it works out, but maybe it doesn't. And if it doesn't, you'd rather it not work out now than not work out 2 months from now. It's a complicated, uncomfortable situation. Let's hope it ends well.
Number 2.
The Arkansas athletic director jumped on social media this morning and more or less gave clearance to one of the school's NIL collectives to legally pursue any money it believes it can recoup from Arkansas student athletes who have taken checks from this collective and then bounced into the transfer portal to go to another school. This is a real thing that's happening all over the country. It happened to Memphis basketball last year. You'll remember with Tyreek Smith. He took hundreds of thousands of dollars, deposited the checks, and then bounced because he wanted more money, didn't like his role. And the way the contract was written, my understanding is that there was no recourse for the collective. He just took hundreds of thousands of dollars from a bunch of Memphis boosters and left, never played a game. And there was nothing they could do. So now these collectives are starting to try to write these contracts a little more intelligently. And there are buyout clauses in some of them. I don't know exactly what the contracts look like at Arkansas, obviously, but I'm totally in favor of this. 2 things. One, these collectives writing the contracts in a way that does hold the young people accountable, the student athletes accountable. Like, you can't just take my money and leave. Like, that's crazy. Like, what Tyreek Smith did to Memphis was crazy. But there was no legal recourse because the contract wasn't written properly. That's my understanding, at least. I know there's rules technically with the NCAA you got to work around. The truth is there's a lot of smart people out there, way smarter than me. So I won't even suggest to you how you write the contracts because they're smarter than me people who know how to do it. But like, there's a way to do it to be within the NCAA guidelines, but also you can't just take my money and get into the transfer portal.
You know what's funny? You know what this is in response to? Do you know the player this is in response to?
Yeah, the Tennessee quarterback's brother.
Nico's brother.
That family,
I saw
buddy.
that this morning. I was like, what? Because I saw this story that you're talking about. And then,
Apple doesn't fall far from a tree or
Madden,
whatever.
Ian Maliava, he's following his brother to UCLA.
Yeah.
They're both going to be UCLA quarterbacks.
Yeah, and they both just bailed. They both had deals in place with SEC schools and decided they wanted something different.
Yeah.
And I know Tennessee was upset, and Arkansas now upset about it too. So I do like this system will not exist forever and perhaps not even much longer. But while this system is in place, where NIL deals are just getting tossed around, as a university, you need to cover yourself. As a collective, you need to cover yourself. And there's a way to write these contracts where, hey, buddy, we're happy to pay you to be here. But the second you ain't here anymore, you owe us money. The Tyreek Smith thing that happened to Memphis basketball is not going to happen to us. The Arkansas athletic director made a pretty public stance earlier today. From there, we'll see where it goes.
Number 3.
Ace Bailey, Rutgers star, is the latest one-and-done prospect to announce he is officially entering the 2025 NBA draft. No surprise, he's a locked top 5 pick. Could go as high as number 2. I don't think you're going to be able to find a mock draft or a franchise that's going to pass on Cooper Flagg at number 1. He's the youngest Wooden Award winner ever, and after being the number 1 high school prospect in his class, he is going to be the number 1 pick in the NBA draft. But after that, there's a real debate to be had. Is it Ace Bailey? Is it his teammate at Rutgers, Dylan Harper? Is it VJ Edgecombe at Baylor? There's various other prospects you could reasonably put in the conversation. But this young man, if all you do is watch highlights, not games, highlights, nobody's got better highlights. You watch Ace Bailey's highlights.
He's awesome.
It looks like you're watching Kevin Durant.
I know.
It looks like you're watching a long and lean, shot-creating, shot-making wing. Awesome. The best, you ready for this? The best version of Ace Bailey, like if you just took it, Ace Bailey can become everything he can become, might be better than the best version of what Cooper Flagg could become. But people are just real skeptical he'll ever be more than what he is, which is a dynamic shot maker, but not one who impacts winning. Can't pass the ball at all. Doesn't seem interested in doing that. He's just an amazing one-on-one basketball player. Like if you were doing one-on-one, you might want Ace Bailey to be the person you're supporting. He's long and he can play make and he can bounce it and he can cheat. Kevin Durant, he obviously wasn't as good at Rutgers as Kevin was at Texas, but a lot of the good stuff looks the same. It's just not there consistently. I got a mock draft at CBS Sports updating later today. I have him 5th, so on the lower end. And that's just because I believe in the highlights, but I don't like the fact that he was on a team with another projected top 5 pick and they lost more than they won.
Yeah.
I don't like losers. And it doesn't mean that you can't lose in college and then be great in the NBA. Anthony Edwards lost in college and was great in the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't like the vibes at Rutgers this year. And then when you talk to people about him, they're like, yeah, it's super talented young man, but it's never been there consistently. For every highlight you see, there's 2 things that frustrate you. So he's got to shake that. But even with that, it's all relative. He's amazing and is going to be a top 5 pick, perhaps the number 2 pick in the 2025 NBA draft.
Number 4.
The Titans have more or less made it clear. There's no suspense heading into day 1 of the NFL draft. They are going to execute the pick, and they will select Miami quarterback Cam Ward, 1st overall, on Thursday night. On a scale of 1 to 7, what's your level of excitement now for the Cam Ward?
GP, 1 to 7 scale. You can put me solidly at a 6. I think a 7 would just be overreacting.
A 7 would be like you're about to draft Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
Okay.
We might be about to draft the next Patrick Mahomes. I heard Louis Riddick say that. I didn't say that.
Here's
Louis
what
Riddick
Mario
said that.
Cristobal said. Here's what Mario Cristobal said. He coached Cam Ward.
Okay.
Here's what he said. Tell me how this hits your ears.
Mm-hmm.
Cam embodies everything you want in a team leader and your quarterback. Everything you want. Everything you want, Bennett. Tell me what you want.
That is literally everything I want.
Bennett, can you tell me everything you want in a team leader and a quarterback? Let's start with an ability to throw.
That sounds amazing.
Yep.
We've lacked that.
Yeah.
We have lacked that.
An ability to throw a pigskin would be great.
Yep. Can I get an athlete? Can I get an athlete? So. I think I'm getting an athlete. No, dude.
What do you want in a team leader?
What do you mean?
Just what do you want in a team leader?
Passion.
Cam Ward has passion.
I want passion. I want the will to win.
You had the Will Levis.
He's still there.
I know.
He'll have a chance to compete for that gig.
Yeah.
He'll have an opportunity. We'll give Will an opportunity. Don't you worry.
Gia Duddy.
We'll give Will a chance.
Gia Duddy's still running around Nashville, I gather.
He'll have his chance, okay?
She's something else, man.
Okay, so I feel better about this than I literally have felt ever since the season ended. And here's why. Because I told you, asked me right after the season, who would you take? I said Shedeur Sanders,
Sure.
right?
Yeah,
and a lot's happened since then, right? We've had combines, we've seen these guys throw, like all that stuff, right? And Cam Ward is clearly the consensus #1 overall pick. So not only do I feel better about it from that perspective, and the Titans, like you said, they know that's who they're taking. They said they're not fielding any more trade calls. I think it was Diana Rossini who reported that that Cleveland and the Giants both tried to move up.
And the Titans blocked their numbers.
Yep, they both tried to come up and get #1.
Titans put blocked number on them.
So they wanted Cam over Shedeur. And the crazy thing about it is, like right now, they're talking about Shedeur going 21 to the Steelers.
Oh, buddy, that quarterback slide is always something else because there's just some franchises who just don't want a quarterback. So once you go past this one and this one and this one, now you're just in a free fall, buddy.
So, like, if Cleveland and New York don't want Shedeur, like, you still, like, there's still other teams before you get down to 21 that is like, why don't you want to take a quarterback here? Like, it doesn't make a lot of sense. And so I'm not saying, like, red flags or anything about him. I'm just saying there appears to be a clear separation between the two players. And so I'm super confident about this pick. I'm fired up, dude. We're getting our quarterback in the future.
Bennett's already celebrating.
It's happening.
The future's here. The future is now.
It was all worth it. It was all worth it.
What exactly was worth it?
Losing.
Those Ryan Tannehill interceptions?
Losing. Losing.
I remember those Ryan Tannehill interceptions.
Those weren't as bad as the Will Levis ones.
Oh, buddy.
Those were worse.
The only thing I ever seen Will Levis do good is it was on a leaked video. And I don't even...
He had that mayonnaise commercial. That thing went pretty viral.
Who would have thought that...
He's going to have his chance to compete.
Like, fast forward, on the night of the draft, everybody knew Will Levis. Nobody knew his girlfriend. Fast forward a few years, and her career is going better than his. She's a star.
She's an absolute star.
I think so.
She's an absolute star.
She looks like one. She has star qualities. She has star qualities.
There's no question about it. There's no question about it.
She has star qualities. I'm happy for you, Bennett. You deserve good stuff.
Oh, they're questioning Cam's heart in the chat. Shut up.
They question his heart. What's wrong with his heart? I think he has a heart. What's wrong with his heart?
They just think because Miami, you know.
Didn't they do something stupid at the end of the season?
Dude, there's plenty of quarterbacks in the NFL who played on whatever college football teams.
Yeah.
I ain't worried about his Miami experience.
Bennett doesn't care about what happened the last time Cam Ward actually played football for a team.
It's a team sport.
It is a team sport.
It's a team sport.
That's the thing about football people don't understand sometimes is that it's a team sport.
Yeah, it's a team sport.
I'm happy for you. I'm not going to let the chat. The chat's always trying to bring you down. Or
no,
me down or us down.
It's all
chat's
positive.
Always trying to bring people down.
It's all positive.
I don't know why.
Let's go, Cam. And I will be getting my jersey.
I don't know why.
Yes.
I don't know why chat's always got to try to bring people down. I just want to be happy for you.
You know, ever since my king, King Henry.
I understand.
LeBron's my king too, but my real one true King Henry.
Yeah.
Ever since he left, I've wanted a jersey. I don't know whose jersey to get. I don't know whose jersey to get.
That's who I would get.
She's not a part of this anymore, okay?
Yes,
she's not a part of this anymore.
Part of it.
And I never knew whose jersey to get. And I didn't want to make a mistake because those things are expensive. You gotta make the right jersey choice that you can wear for years. I
think that's true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now I know.
He knows.
Now I know.
Then he's gonna be wearing a Ward jersey.
Can I get one next week? Can I get one?
Buddy, you could probably get one right now.
I want to be wearing it like Friday.
Bennett, that's up to you. I'm not in charge of what you wear to work, obviously.
I want to wear it on Friday to celebrate.
Okay.
I'm really excited.
All right.
I can't wait.
I'm happy for you.
Let's go.
Bennett says let's go.
Number 5.
Mempho Fest lineup officially announced. Tyler Childers is going to headline. That's a good get. Like, he's on an arena tour right now. Like, he's doing big arenas.
That is a big get.
Widespread Panic. People love Widespread Panic, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
Do people still love Widespread Panic?
Hell yeah, they do.
I remember last time Mempho Fest had Widespread Panic. We happened to be there. I don't remember why exactly.
Was it Mempho Fest? They were here. They were here last year.
Or maybe it was something.
I think they were here last year,
maybe
right?
A couple years. I think maybe we went to see Jason Isbell, and then it was maybe Widespread Panic afterwards. But you know, that was my like I was never into jam band, widespread panic stuff, but I had a lot of friends who were. So I was like, I'd be guilty by association.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes I'd just show up at a festival eating a cheese sandwich or something like that, you know?
I like to get weird.
I get weird sometimes.
Yeah,
too.
I like to get weird.
I get weird sometimes.
I like to jam. I've been trying to go see Dead and Company, The Sphere for 2 years. The Sphere for 2 years.
Here's the most ridiculous story. So, Widespread Panic, Memphis in May. Some like Sunday afternoon. I don't know. I don't remember. Early, like, I'm a young man. And
be careful.
Yeah, I'm not gonna sell.
I know what goes on at those shows.
Oh, buddy.
I know what goes on at those shows.
Oh, buddy. So I'm there with one of my buddies and a little girl I know, and everybody's having a good time. And my buddy just out of nowhere and maybe it wasn't out of nowhere, but he got a wild idea. He sees some people with like a little dropper.
I know. I'm familiar.
You familiar?
I'm familiar.
And he decided he wanted to get involved in whatever was going on
Try
over there.
one of those droplets.
Yeah, like maybe get me one of them droplets, right? So he walks over to the buddy, starts negotiating with him, and they work that out, however that works. And the guy hands him the thing, and my buddy goes, drop, 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 drop. And the guy goes, bud,
why did you do that?
Oh, no, you don't know what you just did, but that's too much. You're going to have a rough next 12 hours. So I said, all right, I gotta get you out of here. I know how this is gonna go. All right, I'm giving up my day. I'm gonna ride this with you, but oh man, I wish you wouldn't have done that. I know I can't leave you alone, but I wish you wouldn't have done that. So, little girl's like, just bring him back to my house, and we'll just all hang out there. Oh, that was sweet. Well, she lived at this stuff hits my buddy, and he's in the back seat, like fetal position. We can't even open his eyes. All right. And he's like, GP, just take me to the hospital. And I'm like, I'm not going to take you to the hospital. You're going to be all right.
That'll make it worse.
That will definitely make it worse.
Yeah.
You just got to call. You got to just ride it out, man. There's nothing I can do for you except I can just be here for you. But there ain't nothing I can do to change what's going on in your head right now. You're just going to have to deal with this. He's like, GP, just call my mama. I was like, I'm not calling your mother.
No.
I love your mother. I don't want her to be worried about you. You're going to be fine only because I am the best friend in the world. All right? You're going to be fine. Because I'm the best friend in the world. I'm leaving a festival just to ride this out with you because you screwed up everything. GP, just call me. I'm not calling your mother, and I'm not taking the hospital. We're going to this person's house, and I'm probably going to watch a movie and put you in another room or something. Right? At some point, he finally breaks out of his fetal position, and it happens to coincide exactly as we're driving by. Is it Bellevue Church with the 3 big crosses, those gigantic crosses?
Yeah.
So he's been like this since downtown Memphis. And he finally comes out, and the first thing he sees is these giant crosses, and he's like,
I'm dead.
losing his mind. All right? That's what happens at a Widespread Panic show sometime. So anyway, we were at Widespread Panic a couple years ago. And I see people I recognize from 20 years ago at a Widespread Panic show.
Oh, yeah, man.
It's all the same people.
Yeah.
It's the same band and all the same people. So I see these people, and it's good to see them. I ain't seen them in a while. And they were like, so what are you doing after this? I'm like, after this? Who does stuff after this anymore? What do you think is Sunday night? We're talking about after this. Y'all still do stuff after this? And they were like, yeah, I think we're going to Blue City. Free World's playing. I'm like, Free World still plays at Blue City? This is all... Have y'all been doing this whole time?
Yeah, oh yeah.
I wondered, I had this moment, like, have they just been doing this for 20 straight years?
The old heads still like to have a good time.
I was
like
like
everybody else.
I was like, no, I'm going to go to, like, Fox Ridge Pizza and then and have a slice with my kids and wife, and then I'm just going to go home, call it a night. But anyway, Widespread Panic can be fun. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to tell you. People still like them. People
They do.
And then
They do.
Tyler Childers, like, that's a big star.
I think I might have to get to that one.
We're going.
Y'all going to that one? I think I might have to get to that one.
Tyler
Yeah.
Childers, funny story. So you know my buddy Corey Brandon?
Yes.
My old roommate. He's a singer-songwriter artist himself. And a long time ago, you know, he's out on the road touring, and, you know, you end up in certain scenes or whatever, and he recognizes this young guy. And he's like, my God, this young guy's really talented. And he introduced himself, and he's like, oh, yeah. Then the young guy knows him, like looks up to him. And, they just sort of hit it off. And at some point, as the story goes, I believe Corey had a few shows that he needed an opener for whatever reason. And he's like, what if I just reach out to this young guy I met, see if he wants to do it.
Mm-hmm.
He seemed, he's from Kentucky, he's from the South. And so he calls up this young guy he met, Tyler Childers. And he's like, hey, I got a couple shows. I need an opener if you want to open. He's like, yeah, I'll be there. And I believe opened for Corey at Minglewood Hall. Corey is the headliner, and Tyler Childers opened.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Vernon went to it, because I think I've heard Vernon tell some version of this story before. It seems like the thing I would have been at, but I don't actually have a recollection of being there, so I don't want to say I was there. It feels like I would have been there, but I don't remember any of this. But Corey has told the story, and I think I've heard Vernon remember meeting Tyler Childers that night. But from that young guy is now selling out arenas all over the country.
Pretty cool.
And just the way the world works, guess who's been opening for him on this tour?
Who? Corey?
Yeah. So Corey's been playing like the Grizzlies played in Paycom Center last night. I think Corey played the Paycom Center a couple weeks ago.
That's pretty cool.
Pretty cool. With Tyler Childers. Or, he's certainly been playing arenas with Tyler Childers. And they're doing Nashville Bridgestone Arena, I think in October or something. We're probably going to pop over for that. But my point is, Tyler Childers is selling out arenas right now. And we're going to have him at a local festival later on this year. So that's fun stuff.
Dude, Mempho is a good time. I had a good. I didn't get to the one last year, but the one before, it's a damn good time. They put on a good concert.
Here's the honest to God truth. First off, I'm a 48-year-old man. Festivals aren't really my scene anymore, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's nothing about me that says I want to go to a festival. Coachella, Mempho Fest, I don't care. I don't feel like that would be fun for me, right? But I will say this. Every time I've been to Mempho Fest, I've had a good time.
Yeah.
There's nothing about me that says, I want to go to a festival this weekend. I'd rather just play golf and go to sleep. But every time I go, I have a good time. And I will probably go this year and have another good time. Shouts to Mempho Fest. That's a good get. Be back with GP's Carryout.
Debo traded from San Francisco to the Commanders for a 5th round pick. There's no other sport where you would get a player of his ilk for a 5th round pick.
Over under total yards for Debo. If they set it at 1,000, you think he hits that over?
Total yards?
Total yards from scrimmage. Total yards.
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
The Odds Couple, live at 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
There's nothing like playoff basketball.
Boy, nothing like playoff basketball in Memphis.
The atmosphere of a Grizzlies playoff game is super exciting.
Oh my God, it's absolutely electric. I love seeing the crowd out.
Everybody's just screaming their heads off. You feel like you're in a movie.
People are down here. Everyone's got on their Grizz gear.
The city's excited. Everybody's excited to watch. There's really nothing like it, and I really can't wait.
FedEx Forum Saturday, August 30th. With special guests, Bush and Morgan Wade. Get tickets now at livenation.com. Shinedown, live in concert. For more, visit shinedown.com.
Grizzlies fans, dunks, dimes, and no-looks are great on TV, but nothing compares to catching them IRL. And that starts with buying tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Ticketmaster gets you to the game so you can catch every highlight in person. From seeing your favorite Grizzly stars up close to hearing the squeak of the sneakers on the hardwood. Put that jersey collection to use and get tickets at Ticketmaster. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside, Memphis.
I need cameras to capture every waking moment between Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston on the same team. The pregame prayers will be generational.
Because that's preacher and a deacon. That's what we're talking about here. That prayer is going to be 40 minutes. We're going to miss the anthem.
Tune in to the Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt live every weekday at 8 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Welcome back, Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South. Let's wrap this up with GP's Carryout.
It's time for GP's Carryout. One final segment filled with stuff to take with you. It's not everything you need to know, but it's most of it. What did we learn today?
Whole bunch of stuff, but we mostly focused on your Memphis Grizzlies in advance of tomorrow night's Game 3, Best of 7 series with the Oklahoma City Thunder. Tip schedule for 8:30. Tickets available at Grizzlies.com. As you know, Grizz are going to come home down 0-2 with an average margin of defeat 35 points. But like,
I mean, that 51-pointer, that misconstrued things.
That misconstrues things.
Yeah.
I think that heavily misconstrues things. All right?
Yeah.
It's a little bit like you're 9 over par after 1, and then you're 12 over par after 2. But yeah, it's all bad, but like your second hole wasn't nearly as bad as your first, and that first one got things in a real bad spot. That 51-point loss really messed up their point differential.
Yes, it did. Yes, it did.
I mean, that's tough to overcome. So, how about this?
Okay.
I got one for you.
Yep.
Try this on for size. Lose game 1 by 51 points, but only lose game 2 by 19. That's a 32-point improvement.
Oh, so then that means we're winning game 3.
If you improve by 32 points again,
That's
we're blowing them out.
That's a home court dub.
Now we're blowing them out.
I like that train of thought.
If you can improve by 32 points between game 1 and game 2, why can't you also improve by 32 points between game 2 and game 3? And if you do that, that's a victory. A double-digit one.
I'm ready for tomorrow.
I'm not sure the math exactly works that way. I'm not sure anything works that way. But I'm trying my best. To wrap my head around this.
They need us.
They need us.
They need us. They need what they had on Friday night. They need that tomorrow night. They need that energy. They feed off the energy.
Bennett, I'm going to put my bedtime aside. I'm going to travel to downtown Memphis. I'm not just going to tell other people what to do. I'm going to walk the walk myself.
Put your money where your mouth is.
I'm going to put money.
Put your money where your mouth is.
I'm putting money in my mouth. I'm going to put money in my mouth. All right? I'll be in the building.
Good.
I'll be in the building.
Good.
You know what? So, I'll be able to say I was in the building. Are you going to be able to say you were in the building? Bennett, I know you will.
I'm excited. I love a playoff game. I love me a playoff game.
I love a playoff game, too. I'm going to put money in my mouth.
Yeah.
I'm going to walk around FedEx Forum with a credential around my neck and money in my mouth. If you can improve by 32 points in between game 1 and game 2, why can't you do it again? And if you do it again, that's a double-digit victory. The math is the math. If you don't like what I'm saying, take it up with math.
Don't miss your first 10 shots.
And don't miss your first 10 shots.
And I like our chances.
And don't go down 9-0. And fix your body language.
Yeah.
And try hard.
Yeah.
That's a good place. Let's leave it there. That's a good place.
That's a good place to leave it.
Let's not put too much on the.
I like it.
Let's not put too much on the table.
We have a plan.
We got a plan. We got a plan, and now it's time to execute it.
What's today's biggest game?
I personally think it's Warriors Rockets. Inside the Toyota Center, Warriors got game 1 on the road. That championship pedigree coming through. Oh, it's great to be the 2 seed up until you got to deal with the championship pedigree Warriors.
Yeah.
Warriors up 1-0, but 3.5-point underdogs tonight. 8:30 tip TNT. Totals 204.5. How you going to act?
I'll go Rockets.
Bennett said he's going to lay points with the Rockets. Oh, that's for your Dylan Brooks love affair. Nobody loves to bet on Dylan Brooks more than you.
I just think that it's a good spot for a bounce back. Yeah, it's a good spot for a bounce back.
Bennett is predicting a bounce back inside the Toyota Center tonight.
Yeah,
8:30 tip. He says Rockets minus 3.5.
What are we watching on TV?
Can I interest you in Oklahoma City bombing? American Terror? You thought it was about the Grizzlies. It's not.
I got scared for a second.
Oklahoma City bombing is not a new documentary about the Grizzlies.
Okay.
That is what is happening to the Grizzlies right now. But it is not a new documentary about the Grizzlies. The new documentary called Oklahoma City Bombing is about It's about the Oklahoma City bombing.
Mm-hmm.
You remember that? Are you old enough to remember
Timothy
that?
McVeigh.
Timothy
I do
McVeigh,
remember.
1995. He just blew up the Federal Building in 1995. You ever been to the Federal Building in Oklahoma City?
I've never been to
I think
Oklahoma,
I have.
period.
You never been to Oklahoma?
I've never been to Oklahoma.
The Center State.
Never been. Never been. Which is, it's not that far. It's what, like 6.5 hours from here?
I don't know. I never counted it.
You've driven through Oklahoma.
Sure.
Yeah.
I want
to say you got pulled over in Oklahoma.
Buddy, yeah, I almost went to jail.
Yeah.
This is, I'm always almost going to jail. I never actually go to jail. I'm just always, I'm very close to it all the time. This is a real story. I was there to cover an Oklahoma State football game very early in my time at CBS. So we're just now getting iPhones, I guess. We were at a point where you could listen to podcasts, but not with Bluetooth. We ain't quite got Bluetooth yet. Long story not so long, I'm staying in like Tulsa.
Mm-hmm.
So I fly into Tulsa, check into my hotel, and I got to drive to Oklahoma State, to Stillwater. And I get on the interstate, and I'm listening to a podcast, and I literally put on like Beats by Dre.
Uh-oh.
Like the big bucket ones. And I'm just, I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm just flying down the road. And come to find out, I did at some point notice there were blue lights behind me. I'm speeding. And I see the blue lights, and I'm like, oh, okay, I guess I'm here. They got me. Pull over. And they're like, hands on the wheel. I mean, it got aggressive very quickly. They had been following me for like 3 miles with their lights on. I had no idea. They thought I was trying to evade them. They thought I was refusing to comply.
Yep. That's why it's illegal to wear headphones when you drive.
That's what they told me.
Yeah.
So they were like, what? So I'm like, yo, man, what is going on? And they're like, you don't stop when you see the light. I'm like, bro, I just saw the lights. I swear to God. I was like, you want this to be more exciting than it is? They thought I had drugs in the car or I was smuggling something. They searched my whole car.
Yeah.
They were like, if you got anything in the car, you need to say it now. I was like, nothing. Have you been drinking? I was like, no, I'm just stupid. I haven't been drinking. I have no drugs. I'm not smuggling anything. I wasn't running from you. I was just listening to a podcast on headphones. I'm just an idiot. Write me a ticket for being an idiot. But that's the thing in addition to speeding, that's the only thing I'm guilty of just being an idiot. And they wrote me a ticket for being an idiot, or at least for speeding.
Yeah.
But I don't think it was as bad as you would imagine. Like I was going faster than I should have been. Mm-hmm. It's on me.
Okay.
I'm learning, man.
At least you admit your wrongs.
At least I admit my wrongs.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
At least I admit my wrongs.
Where's this Timothy McVeigh doc?
Netflix, man.
Okay. I'll check it out.
Hour and 24 minutes. It's a gripping documentary that revisits the shocking 1995 bombing of an Oklahoma City federal building. It's the deadliest act of domestic terrorism in U.S. history.
Is he still alive?
Timothy McVeigh. You know what? Let's find out together. I'm going to say no.
I want to say he died.
I want to say he got killed in prison. I typed Timothy Chalamet.
Oh, wait. Weird that's the first thing that popped up in my Google search. Is this computer listening to me?
Timothy McVeigh.
It says he was
dead. He dead. He died in 2001. Let's see how he died. I don't care how he died. I know he deserved it. I don't care how he died. I know he deserved it.
Executed.
Oh, they killed him.
Yeah, we executed him.
Good.
Lethal injection.
Yeah, I don't mind it so much.
No.
I think broadly speaking,
he deserved it.
I think broadly speaking, I'm against the death penalty. But I ain't got no issues with Timothy McVeigh being dead.
Me either.
Is that okay?
No.
Is that a reasonable opinion to have?
Yeah, I think you're
I'm
fine.
not in favor of the death penalty. Because if one innocent person is put to death, that's too many for me. All right? But I don't care about Timothy McVeigh being dead. 33. Lethal injection at 33.
Wild.
That's got to be one of the younger lethal injections of all time.
You would think so, because now these things get dragged out forever, right?
Yeah, he's like a Cooper Flag of lethal injections. He's like the Cooper Flag of lethal injections. Cooper Flag,
Maybe
youngest
so.
Wooden Award winner, and Timothy
Maybe
McVeigh
so.
has got to be one of the youngest lethal injection recipients ever. He's like the Cooper. I don't think anybody's ever made that comparison before.
I doubt it.
Timothy
you would
McVeigh
be the first.
Timothy McVeigh is the Cooper Flag of lethal injections.
Put that on a t-shirt.
Yeah, let's just leave it that one. Let's leave that one there right there too.
What's the best thing we've read?
Over at CBSSports.com right now, they've got a piece up, the best fit for every franchise in the first round of tomorrow night's NFL draft. Best fit for Bennett's Tennessee Titans?
It's Cam.
Cam Ward. You can read it. It's on the homepage right now.
What's on tap for tomorrow?
Well, tomorrow's Thursday.
Yep.
Oh, I like Thursday.
Yep.
Mike Wallace going to join me.
Yes, he will.
We'll get ready for Game 3. Grizzlies Thunder, 8:30 tip. If you don't have your tickets yet, you can get them Grizzlies.com. We'll be back in a little more than 22 hours. We'll get you ready for that. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'm going to enjoy mine. Be back here tomorrow at 10. Till then, be careful, be kind, be good. Rep your hood.